Welcome back to the Course Creation Incubator. I'm Gina Onativia, online course coaching consultant, and I'm here to get you fired up about creating your online course. I've been thinking a lot lately about this question about the difference between online course creators who get it done and those who just flounder, maybe even 2 years later, and see themselves without a course. I think it's a mix of identity and accountability. I want you to hold on to that for a moment. I'll promise to get back to it. And by the way, if you're one of those who said a year or two ago, I'm going to get my course done, I'm going to get my first students through the door, and you still haven't gotten there, or if you're looking at a course that's half done and wondering what the heck happened, I want you to know it's okay. I want you to let go of the anger or resentment or frustration and say to yourself, it's time for a reset. I, for one, love a course creator that got started, even if you stopped, because you started at one point, because you felt in your body, I need to do this. So if that's you, pick yourself back up because you got it. You've got this. And I'll link to a little pep talk in the show notes for you as well. Now, over the years, I've seen the patterns of those that do versus those that don't. And I think sometimes when people first start out with creating a course, they're not maybe 100% committed. They're dabbling with the idea and aren't truly committed to it yet. And I think whenever you're starting out and trying to master course creation or create a course, you don't want to dabble. You want to pursue mastering it. This is something I picked up during my Tony Robbins days. And if any of you have been to his Unleash the Power Within event, he talks about deciding, committing, and resolving with an outcome or goal. To resolve to create something greater than yourself. Now, if you've decided, committed, and resolved to create your course, then I hope you'll stay with me, because this episode is all about how you're going to get your course done, because you've committed, because you've resolved. There's no turning back now, right? And how I'm going to get you there is talking about these two principles of owning your identity and then owning your accountability. So let's start with your identity. What is your identity as a course creator? Who is it that you're wanting to become? Now, Atomic Habits by James Clear is one of my favorite books right now. And he talks about, quote, the goal is not to read a book. The goal is to become a reader. The goal is not to run a marathon. The goal is to become a runner. The goal not to learn an instrument, to become a musician. So here's what I'm saying. The goal is to not create a course. The goal is to become a course creator. And then your habits will become intertwined with that identity. Your habits are how you embody your identity. What you have to ask yourself is, who is this type of person who gets the results, who gets things done? Who is the type of course creator that builds their course to fruition? Who launches, makes money, builds their mission, and welcomes the students they want? Who is that kind of person? How do I embody that? How do I become that? Now, James Clear also writes, decide the type of person you want to be and prove it to yourself with small wins. Who's the type of person who makes money with their course? And then he takes it a step further. You could ask yourself, what would this type of person do? What would this type of person wear? What kind of habits does this type of person embody? What small wins are going to turn me into that kind of person, that kind of course creator? Now, you have to ask yourself, what kind of course creator do you want to be? And it goes back to your outcome with your course. Now, if I looked at my last 2 accelerator classes, for example, I had course creators who wanted to build a suite of courses and ultimately start a full-on digital course business, really rock that out and build an empire. Then I had a course creator whose bread and butter is really offline workshops, but that can't really work right now, so is pivoting to online for now. I had another course creator who just wanted to create one course, a couple who wanted leads for their financial business, and then that was it. They don't plan to build out courses beyond that, which is great. Then I had another course creator who has a local service type of business and just wanted to create traffic for her business. Whatever your outcome is for your course, you're going to make it work for you, and you're going to become that kind of course creator. And I want you to create the habits and the rituals that are going to get you there. So if you're going to own that identity, I think the first step is to get a coach or mentor. They're going to cheer you on and show you the path. I've learned so much, for example, from a virtual mentor in Coach Bennett from Nike. He doesn't know I exist, But I've learned so much from him via the Nike app. I've learned to start slowly with runs and build, then go the fastest toward the end of the run. No one's ever taught me that before. No one ever taught me the mechanics of a run. I learned that because I have a coach and I have a mentor, even if he is virtual. And by the way, what does Coach Bennett remind me of every single time I listen to one of his guided runs? I don't care what run you're going for. You are a runner. Own that identity. Each and every run, he tells us that. Just because you started running today, you are a runner. By the way, you can also buy a course that's going to help you create your own course. If you want to launch a podcast, buy a course from someone who's going to help you maximize that podcast. Find a virtual mentor, get a book, hire a coach, get into a mastermind, get involved with that. Whatever that looks like for you, find a mentor. And like I mentioned, lately I've been finding virtual mentors, either through the Nike app for Coach Bennett. James Clear is an author. Ben Hardy's a new author that I've discovered, along with other people that I trust to be a sounding board in real life. And I think that's really important when you're a course creator, that you have a mix of mentors, real and virtual. I think the second element when it comes to building your identity is investing in yourself, even if it's a small amount. Now, you may be investing in some money on a coach or a mentor, which I think is great. And I think maybe you need to invest in other pieces as well. When I was first starting out as a runner, I would invest in new clothes, new shoes. I would invest in gels. I would pay money for that chalky stuff. It's not chalk, but whatever you rub between your thighs so they don't rub together and you get a rash. And this is probably too much information to share in a podcast, but here we are. I would invest in that kind of stuff too, because I wanted to be a runner. And that's what runners do. They get equipment that helps them get races done. So whatever that looks like for you as a course creator, I want you to invest. Or maybe you buy a software like ScreenFlow or Camtasia, which helps you record audio with slides, and you play with it and you realize what you're capable of. Think about what small purchases can get you excited for what you're about to build that'll keep you on the road to momentum. So you're thinking to yourself, I'm so excited about this. I'm invested. I'm going to spend money on that. Then you put your money where your mouth is or where your future identity is. I mentioned that Ben Hardy is one of my virtual mentors. Bo Eason, a client of ours, introduced me to him and his book, Willpower Doesn't Work. And it is a tremendous book. Please pick it up along with Atomic Habits. And I love the way he makes you look at life and the way you look at your environment as part of the book, which I think is critical for course creators. And he talks about creating conditions that force you to succeed. Now, inside of Willpower Doesn't Work, he says, how much do you invest in yourself? How much of yourself have you invested? How committed are you to yourself? If you aren't invested in yourself, then you don't have any skin in the game of your own life. If you aren't invested in your business, you probably won't do high quality work. If you want to do something extremely well, you need to align yourself with the right mentors. Okay, so side note, right? This is element number 1. High level goals require high quality mentoring. If you suck at something, it's because you haven't received quality mentoring, coaching, guidance, what have you at that thing. If you're not achieving, it's because you haven't had somebody properly show you the way. So I love how Ben Hardy encapsulates both elements, number 1 and number 2 here. So if you suck at something, if you suck at course creation, you don't have the right mentors, and you haven't invested in yourself. So think about those two pieces. Now, finally, your third approach for building your identity is the non-negotiables, in my opinion. When I was running at full capacity, it was a non-negotiable for me to run 3 days a week. And if I didn't get that third run in, I knew I was running that 7th day of the week. It was a non-negotiable, whatever it took. So what is a non-negotiable for you to get your course done? Because a lot of times I see people have momentum out of the gate, like we talked about at the beginning of this episode, when they're first starting out. And then they don't define their non-negotiables, and the course just falls in terms of priorities. And other things take over, and you lose that momentum. I've seen it so many times. I guess we could talk about this for other projects too that lose momentum, right? Maybe you decide to create a model dollhouse for your kid, or you decide to take up kickboxing, whatever it is. Life gets in the way, you lose your commitment to it because you didn't have a non-negotiable against it. And maybe, just maybe, you didn't have a mentor. You didn't invest in yourself also, right? So think about that. Think about the non-negotiables as far as getting it done. So for you, it could be, I'm working on my course for 30 minutes each morning when I first wake up, after I poured a cup of coffee and I've got the brain energy to do it. So I love Bubs Naturals. I love their coconut oil powder. And then they've got a protein powder that I put into my coffee with a little agave, and it gets me going in the morning. That's when I write. So if this is your non-negotiable, you are not going to give away that time. It doesn't matter if a client needs a call or a fire drill happens, and because fire drills will happen, and you know that. Or it could be, I'm going to get 2 scripts done each week. And if you haven't gotten done by Friday, then you're spending all of Saturday working on it, so you stick to that non-negotiable. Your energy, schedule, whatever you need to make it happen are going to revolve around making sure your non-negotiables stay non-negotiable. It's putting in those habits, the building blocks that are going to solidify your identity as a course creator. All right, let's wrap this up by talking about accountability, because I really think that this is a piece that you need to get your course done. Ben Hardy talks about John Burke, a renowned pianist, composer, and musician, and how he sets up his accountability in multiple ways. So number 1, he sets up his own schedule. He protects his schedule. Ben says, John organizes his personal calendar and schedules in creation time throughout his work week over the next several months. He considers these scheduled times for writing music as important meetings. Now, if something pops up during these creation times, like a gig or collaborative opportunity, he says his calendar is already booked for that time. Now, how much do you love that? He truly protected his time. He didn't just schedule it, he protected it. So that's number 1, schedule and protect your time. Then 2, he talks about how John Burke then commits to his studio engineer that he's going to record the album. So what if you committed to a writer, to a shooter who's going to do your videos, or an editor, or someone who's going to help you put your site together? Make that commitment the day you decide you're going to put your course together. Then 3rd, what John Burke does is announces the new album on social media. So it's a public commitment. What kind of public commitment can you make to bring that 3rd tier of accountability? So once again, it's 1, schedule, protect your time. 2, book someone close to you, or a collaborator or a contractor that you know will hold you accountable. And then 3, make that public commitment. I love this 3-tiered approach to accountability. So that's what I've got for you today. Those 2 pieces to help you get your course done, owning your identity as a course creator and building in that 3-tier accountability. Now, this is just a start of how you can help yourself get across the finish line, and I can help you. If you have other ideas and suggestions, please reach out to me. I love hearing different listener suggestions about how we can help each other get our courses done, because ultimately, that's the end game. Well, I really enjoyed our time together. I hope you did too. I will see you next week. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss one course creation tip. And until then, go create, be you and be brilliant, and be the course creator that you are to get it done.